Andrew, can you just indicate how many of your team are unwell and whether you yourself are fit and well, and perhaps offer some explanation as to why so many of your team are feeling unwell or have felt unwell on this trip?
Yes, I can answer that question. I'm feeling very well, thank you for asking. Obviously, it was a bit laid low the night before last and yesterday morning to a certain extent, but I feel absolutely fine now. Swann is recovering well. He should be practicing today. I don't know if he's quite as buoyant as I am, but I think we're still very confident that he'll be fine for tomorrow. And Ajmal Shahzad's been struck by it as well, so he probably won't practice today. Again, we're not sure at this stage whether that's going to affect his chances of being selected for tomorrow. Well, look, I think it's happened to a lot of the sides in this World Cup that guys go down. I mean, it's par for the course in this part of the world. I think we try and take all the precautions we can do, but these things are likely to strike at some stage. You just got to be prepared to ride them and hopefully make sure guys get better quickly enough to still be able to play.
Andrew, just a little bit on the power play, the batting power play as such. More often than not, it's been a disaster for all teams. Really, what do you think? Where is the problem? Are the batsmen under pressure to manufacture shots? Is it the timing? What is par score also, according to you?
I think par score differs obviously on different pitches and also differs as to when you take it. If you're taking it right at the back end, then you're looking for closer to 10 and over. If you take it very early, then you're looking for less. But I think the issue is how you play in that power play. As you say, it changes a batsman's mindset. It changes the bowl. The opposition teams always bring their best bowlers on during it. So you need to react well to whatever circumstances arise. I think we've done it quite as well as we'd like in this World Cup, but hopefully that will change. And it's certainly an important period of play in a match, but it's only 5 overs out of 50.
Well, India started off as literally the favourites in this World Cup, and you started off on a good note as well. Then you drew with India, then you won over South Africa, and then, of course, India lost to South Africa. So really, at this point, do you think India are the biggest favourites right now?
I think it's very tough to call a winner in this World Cup, to be honest. I think it's going to depend a lot on which teams play on what type of wickets, if that makes any sense. From our point of view, the key is for us to stay in the tournament because we want to be one of those teams that can win it. So we need to win here tomorrow. We're very excited about the prospect of taking on the West Indies and hopefully putting in a good performance.
Will Shahzad's fitness determine whether Jimmy Anderson plays or not?
No, not necessarily. I think we've got a lot of options, both with spin and seam for this game. We're going to pick a balanced bowling lineup which allows us to exploit whatever the conditions the wicket throws at us. So that's something we're going to have to think about.
Andrew, how do you sum up the almost the anticipation of this game, knowing it's a must-win game, and obviously you'll still be waiting on other results, but this is a one-off. How do you sum up the approach and the mental state?
Yeah, it is a one-off, and well, hopefully it's the start of a series of one-offs. But it's, I think the juices are flowing. There are a few butterflies in the stomach, and I think that's a great sign for us. We played well in big matches over the past couple of years. The equation's very simple. This isn't a time to kind of go into our shells. We've got to go out there and take the West Indies team on, and I think mindset-wise that really helps you. And so I'm genuinely excited about it. We've got nothing to fear, and I think we can go out there and play some really good cricket tomorrow and hopefully book our passage into the next phase of the tournament.
It's the first chance we've spoken to you since there's been a bit of talk about your own one-day future. World Cups have tended to be watersheds in the past. Can you almost shed light on what your own thoughts might be if it all doesn't go well here?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know where that article came from. It was baseless as far as I'm concerned. I've had no thoughts whatsoever of retiring from one-day cricket.
John, in the previous match prior, the batting as Kevin Peterson's replacement, Was that a one-off, or was that the plan for the remainder of the tournament?
Well, we said before the game that we may not do it in every game from now on. So we've got to weigh up the conditions, we've got to weigh up the West Indies attack and decide what the best way of countering them in those first 10 or 15 overs is. I think Matt's greatest strength is he's playing against spin. And we're going to have to think about how much spin we're likely to face early on in that innings.
The likelihood is you'll get the rope pace at one end and Ben at the other, that's the way.
Yeah, that looks like it, yeah.
Who will the other options be, sorry?
Well, the other options are the other batsmen we've got available, I suppose the two likely options are Bell and Bopara. We're going to have to, as I said before, we're going to have to decide what the best way of opening the batting is against the particular attack we're going to face.
Yeah, what are your thoughts on the wicket and whether it has changed after the South Africa?
To be honest with you, I haven't seen much of it. I've only seen it today because I didn't practice yesterday. They're obviously rolling a lot of grass cuttings into it at the moment. The likelihood is, I think, that it's going to offer some turn, and it'll probably be quite low, I think. But I've been wrong on wickets before, so I'm not 100% sure on that. I think it's important. I certainly think it's important we've got a good balance to our side that can exploit whatever conditions the wicket throws up at us.
Andrew, the West Indian top order is stacked with left-handers. Do you have any specific ploy to work that? Are you tempted to play an extra spinner?
Well, I think you've got to think about what the best way of getting those left-handers are. Obviously, I think they've got 4 in their top 5, and then lower down the order is mainly right-handers. So, as I said, we need a good balance to our attack that can exploit. That hopefully, we've got some bowlers there that are better at left-handers, so we need them, and then we also need the guys that can trouble the right-handers later on.
Who do you think is the big fish, Chris Gayle or Kieron Pollard?
Well, they're two big lads, if that's what you're asking. Look, I don't know. Those sort of players that can hit a lot of sixes are always dangerous, but they're also likely to provide opportunity because they hit the ball in the air. So you can look at it two ways, really. Now's not a time to be concerned or scared of anyone. I think now's a time to back our skills, and hopefully if we do that, we should be good enough.
Thank you.
Andrew, is Jimmy Anderson's place under threat for this match?
Well, I think you're always trying to pick the right side to win the game. Jimmy's had a tough time in some of the games so far in this World Cup, but we all know what a quality performer he is, and he's done it for us over and over again during the course of the winter and previously. So his name's very much in the mix for selection, but as is always the case, we're not going to tell you which way we're going to go on selection before the game.
Are you thinking that he might be omitted for this game?
We're thinking about what the right 11 is for this game, and as all the bowlers are going to be question marks as to what the right attack, what the right balance of attack is for this game. So that happens every time you pick a side.
Sorry, in terms of your approach, because it is a must-win game, are you more inclined to go on the attack, i.e. with a stronger bowling attack, as opposed to in terms of philosophy?
I think just philosophy-wise, you need a good balance to your attack to exploit any conditions that are in your favour, especially on this wicket. On different wickets it may be dissimilar, but you don't want to be caught out one way or another, I don't think. The best way of stopping scoring in one-day cricket is to take wickets. We need to have those options available to us.
Do you agree in that case with Graham Swann, who said that it would be crazy to go into the game without 2 spinners?
I don't always agree with Graham Swann. Tends to use a lot of hyperbole, but look, it obviously turned here in the last game, so there's definitely a case for the 2 spinners.
You having beaten South Africa and West Indies also, their only loss is to South Africa. Have you noticed any of their weaknesses so far that you'd like to attack in this game?
Well, I think they've got quite a good balance to their side, the West Indies, if I'm honest. They've got 3 spinning options. They've probably only got 1 out-and-out fast seamer, but they've got a decent balanced side. the key to for me is that they haven't been put under real pressure other than the South Africa game, and the challenge for us is to put them under pressure right from ball one and see how they respond.
Last couple team and then the gentleman at the
Andrew, England before the World Cup started, England was one of the teams to expected to ease into the quarterfinals. Now you face an elimination game. Have you been able to put a finger on the reasons for it? Why you're faced with the situation?
Well, I mean, we've lost 2 games that we shouldn't have lost, and we've put ourselves in this situation. So, that's disappointing. We're not going to hide away from that. We've played some good cricket and we've played some poor cricket. But, the equation's very clear for us. We have to win this game. There's no reason for us to doubt ourselves at this stage. I think we should go out there and play good, aggressive, attacking cricket. And hope, obviously, that that is enough to send us through into the next round. Once every team gets into the last 8, then every game's a must-win game. So, I've got every confidence that we're going to be able to do that.
Andrew, all the players been quick to sort of play down fatigue and tiredness and injuries and so on. But for you as captain, would you say it has been a real challenge up to this point to keep things fresh and to keep going?
Yeah, to a certain extent, because we've been on the road for a long time. But one thing I would say is fatigue is the last thing on all our minds at the moment. Potentially we've got 4 more games of cricket to play before a nice long break. We know what the prize there is, and we're determined to make the most of our opportunity to take that prize. So it's just not an issue for us at the moment. I know a lot of people are talking about it. It's not an issue for us, and it won't be until right at the end of the tournament.